a meerkat tears into the sand and lifts a meal large enough to attract attention. Above it, a fork-tailed drongo fixes one bright red eye on the valuable prize. Its alarm sends every nearby forager running, even though the open sky appears utterly empty. This theft is only the beginning. When one warning fails, the drongo will change its voice. But the next shadow may be real. How can the animals ever know when to run? To understand this apparently simple yet dangerous trap, return to a cold morning in the southern Kalahari. At first light, one meerkat carefully tests the air before leaving the safety of its burrow. The rest soon follow, because shelter prevents attack, but it cannot provide their daily breakfast. They warm their bodies, groom their neighbors, and prepare for many demanding hours of searching. One climbs higher, becoming a sentinel while the others turn nearly all their attention downward. A glossy black bird is already watching, balanced silently above them on a familiar bare branch. It is not waiting by chance. Some Kalahari drongos shadow busy ground foragers for several hours. The meerkats spread across the scrub, each sensitive nose sampling a different patch of red sand. Much of their prey remains hidden, so smell often finds what eyesight alone cannot clearly reveal. Foreclaws become powerful shovels, and the deeper they dig, the less sky they can watch. A soft beetle larva disappears quickly, barely worth the attention of the waiting bird high above. Even a dangerous scorpion can become food when careful paws and fast teeth control the sting. The sentinel compensates, constantly scanning while soft calls tell the group that someone remains alert. The drongo hunts too, but its higher perch reveals valuable opportunities unavailable to either meerkat or sentinel. Below, another forager buries its face in the work, trading immediate awareness for a possible meal. Far beyond the low scrub, a martial eagle silently enters the enormous, bright, open sky. The drongo sees it first, snaps sharply upward, and follows the dark, steadily approaching silhouette.
Go on, get out.
The sudden sound interrupts every calculation below. Heads rise before the danger is even clearly visible. Foragers instantly abandon their holes and race toward cover, because hesitation here can quickly become fatal. Only after the eagle passes do they return, cautiously rebuilding the familiar pattern of their search. This is why the drongo remains worth hearing. Many of its urgent warnings are completely honest. Its presence may let other animals spend more valuable time feeding and less time nervously scanning. The relationship also feeds the bird, as disturbed grass suddenly sends hidden insects into the air. The drongo can catch these insects itself without stealing anything directly from its traveling companions. Small prey vanish too quickly to justify a risky trick, so the patient bird simply waits. A deeper excavation is different. Longer handling creates a larger, richer, and more vulnerable reward. As loose sand gathers behind the digger, the drongo moves closer, reducing the distance to opportunity. The sentinel watches for danger, but it cannot judge every motive hidden behind another species' call. Together, bird and mammals move onward, carrying both useful cooperation and growing conflict across the landscape. Then a meerkat braces against a narrow hole and reaches much farther beneath the surface. It pulls free a large meal that cannot be swallowed safely in one quick bite. The drongo's attention visibly tightens because a valuable item makes deception worth the possible risk. It drops to a nearer perch, positioning itself between the distracted forager and the exposed prize. No predator crosses the bright sky, yet the same urgent alarm suddenly rings out above them. The meerkats cannot verify every warning before acting. Survival strongly favors a fast first response. They run immediately, leaving the meal exposed in the exact place where fear interrupted their feeding. Now the trusted alarm caller becomes the thief, diving to the sand before the group can return. In one closely studied population, stolen food supplied about 23% of the biomass drongos consumed. But every successful false alarm carries a hidden cost. Attentive listeners gain experience as well. Southern pied babblers ultimately reveal what happens when the same familiar warning is pushed too far. Like meerkats, they forage below an observing drongo and sometimes uncover substantial food worth taking. At first, one alarm type still works. The startled babbler retreats and the drongo collects the reward. Success encourages another attempt, but repetition also gives the intended target a pattern to recognize. Later that morning, another exposed meal creates nearly the same tempting opportunity for the patient bird. The familiar alarm sounds again, and this time the feeding babbler offers only a brief glance. Instead of fleeing, it returns to the food, and the drongo's usual route to easy theft closes. Playback experiments found the same pattern. Repeated identical alarms gradually produced weaker responses in pied babblers. The failed signal does not end the contest. Instead, it changes what the bird does next. The drongo shifts position while the babbler keeps searching, apparently committed to continued ground feeding. Soon, another large food item emerges, and the valuable opportunity returns with it for the drongo. But this warning is different, copied from another alarm type within the drongo's remarkable vocal repertoire. The babbler freezes more sharply, then rushes beneath low cover and leaves the exposed food behind. Changing the signal has restored the strong response that simple repetition had gradually weakened over time. The drongo immediately drops, takes the abandoned meal, and lifts away before its target returns. Controlled experiments confirmed this effect. Babblers stayed more responsive when the third alarm type changed. Natural observations found switching common after failed thefts, and changed calls significantly improved the bird's success. A real eagle now crosses the wider landscape, and the drongo's next urgent warning is completely honest.
Chink! Chink! Chip!
The animals flee again because dismissing every alarm would make one successful theft dangerously expensive. This flexibility is complex, but it does not prove the drongo thinks exactly like a calculating human deceiver. When the immediate threat passes, the meerkats return to digging and their elevated sentinel resumes scanning. The drongo hunts for itself, then follows the moving group as their shared daily search continues. The meal that opened this story was stolen, yet the warning above it can still save lives.